The Apple logo is one of the most famous and immediately recognizable logos in the world. What many people don't know, however, is that it's gone through several changes, including two fairly major redesigns, to get to the logo that we all know and love today. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the history and evolution of this logo from Apple's humble beginnings in 1976 to the present day. The first logo was designed in 1976 by Apple co-founder Ronald Wayne. It's a hand-drawn image in ink featuring the scientist Sir Isaac Newton sitting under an apple tree. In the border is a quote from the English poet William Wordsworth that reads, "Newton, a mind forever voyaging through strange seas of thought alone." This quote is from Wordsworth's autobiographical poem The Prelude. This logo was used in Apple's early advertising and on manuals for the Apple I computer and peripherals. It was only to last a year, however, as the next logo appeared in early 1977. Apple had hired a marketing firm, Regis McKenna, to design a new logo in preparation for the launch of the Apple II. It was assigned to a designer named Rob Janoff, who designed a logo consisting of an apple in silhouette, overlaid with the word Apple in a font called Mototectura, the curvature of the lowercase a creating a cutout in the apple that resembled a bite mark. The apple was given 6 coloured stripes to highlight the colour graphics capability of the Apple II computer, the first home computer with this capability. This logo is used on Apple's computers and in their advertising and packaging throughout the late 70s and early 80s. If this font looks familiar to you, it's because it was also famously used in the Reebok logo. As well as the full colour version, Apple also used 2 single colour variants, one in black and another in a shade of red known as Apple Red. These single colour versions were used alongside the colour version on stationery and product packaging in order to save money at a time when multicolour printing was still very expensive. This logo was to last for the next 7 years. In 1984, Apple unveiled their third logo. They were about to release the Apple Macintosh, their biggest new product release since the Apple II 7 years earlier. The Mototectura font, which had looked futuristic in 1977, was now by the mid-80s looking positively retro. So Apple decided that the logo needed another redesign, and they hired another PR firm, Landor & Associates, to rework the logo again. The first thing Landor & Associates changed was to remove the text entirely, while leaving the gap where the curve of the letter A had sat in place, giving us the famous Apple silhouette with a bite missing that we all know today. They also redrew the apple itself using computers, making it more symmetrical and geometrically correct. The old logo had been hand-drawn and it was slightly lopsided. The colours were also changed slightly and the indentations at the top and bottom were reduced in depth. This logo was to be used virtually unchanged from 1984 until its last appearance in macOS 9.2 in 2001, a total of almost 17 years. Just as with the previous logo, alternate single colour versions were also used, in flat black, mid-grey and red. All 3 of these logos have been in continuous use from 1984 until today, almost 40 years later. This red version of a logo was used on much of Apple's packaging during the late 80s and early 90s, and today it's still in use as the symbol for AppleCare. In 1985, just a year after the introduction of the Macintosh, Steve Jobs was to be forced out of Apple by then CEO John Sculley. Apple's logo wasn't to change throughout the 12 years of Jobs' absence. In 1997, Jobs returned to Apple and the very next year saw the release of the iMac G3. Along with it came a new logo in a range of colours to match the colours of the different iMac models. This logo was referred to by Apple as the dimensional logo, due to it being the first Apple logo with a 3-dimensional appearance. It was used on their packaging, in adverts and on the computers themselves. An orange version of the dimensional logo appeared on the box for macOS 9, even though the old Spectrum logo still clung on in the OS itself. A steel grey version appeared on the box for the first release of Mac OS X. Apple's website meanwhile used a red version, later switching to a blue version to tie in with the water-inspired Aqua interface of Mac OS X. In April of 2000, 2 years after the first use of the dimensional logo, Apple's new corporate identity guidelines finally officially retired the coloured Spectrum logo, saying, "We've taken that same sense of innovation and leading-edge design that makes our products utterly unique and applied them to the company logo. Instead of rainbow stripes, solid colours that emphasize the timeless elegance of the design of the logo." In 2002, Apple released one of their most innovative products so far, the iconic iMac G4. The next year they began using another new logo, this time with a metallic look designed to look like the polished chrome logo on the front of the new iMac. This logo saw limited use, being used primarily on Apple's website and in the About This Mac box in macOS 10.3 through 10.9. From 2013, the metallic logo was phased out, and Apple returned to the flat single colour version of the silhouette first introduced in 1984. And this is the logo that Apple continues to use to this day. The colours may change depending on the product, but the logo remains essentially the same. As for the future, it's practically inevitable that the current Apple silhouette logo will continue to exist for as long as Apple the company exists. After over 45 years of continuous use, the logo has become so iconic and immediately recognizable that Apple would have to be crazy to change it. The mere presence of an Apple logo on a product, whether it's a phone, a watch, or just a cleaning cloth, is enough to make people want to buy it, and be willing to pay a lot more than they would otherwise. Former CEO John Sculley once called it one of the most powerful selling tools in recent history. That's it for this video. Let me know down in the comments which version of the Apple logo is your favourite. Thanks for watching.